Ladies and gentlemen, the Texas water situation is actually mirroring what happened in Flint, Michigan, but I think this one is way more widespread than Flint, Michigan is because Texas is just such a big state. And shortly after the storm was over last week, I was hearing that people said you could literally see the parasites floating around in the water. And, of course, they're giving out bottled water to everyone, just like Flint, Michigan. And now, in certain parts of Texas, people have been turning on their water and they said it has a terrible odor. It had a horrible odor. And that should be a clear indicator you cannot use that water. You can't bathe in it. You can't give it to your pets. You can't do anything. If y'all remember Flint, Michigan, and I believe this was like back in 2011, 2012, that was one of the first indicators. All of the pets died. Everybody in Flint, Michigan that had a dog or cat, every single pet died. Wiped out the whole pet population. And the children, motor skills started getting slower and slower, and the teachers were noticing how slow many of they weren't responding like they used to, and even their speech was slurred and slow, so they noticed something was going on with the children. And still, Flint, Michigan encouraged, these were the politicians. See, this is why I hate politicians, because many of these politicians know they're telling you something wrong and they will tell you to do it anyway. Somebody that does stuff like that, they don't care about you at all. If somebody is telling you to do something and they know damn well it's something they wouldn't do, that person don't give a damn about you. They're letting you know in their actions. And they kept encouraging the people to use the water and just ignore, oh, boil it, oh, do this. And I'm starting to hear that same stuff out of Texas. Oh, boil it. No, you can't boil this and it's okay to use. I mean, just look at Flint, Michigan. They told those residents, boil the water. No, you don't use this. If you know something's wrong, you don't use it at all. Screw what these politicians say. They can go to hell. And it's a big reason why I hate politicians. Because at the end of the day, look at what happened here. Texas infrastructure probably suffered for many decades and they just ignored it. And all it took was one storm to reveal how poor the infrastructure was. One storm. And it just go to show you, politicians came and went, voted in, voted out, and each and every one of them did nothing. This is why Texas is in this situation today. And it's the same reason why Flint, Michigan has never been right to this very day. So people in Texas, don't let these politicians convince you in just a few months they got this all resolved. If you keep turning on those faucets and you smell something foul, I don't give a damn about what they say. You do what's right. Try to get your water from an outside source. If you can get bottled water, you're just going to have to get a bunch of bottled water, as many cases as you can get. But I would strongly advise you, I mean, if you want to see what happens when people use water that smell bad, just go back and look at Flint, Michigan. Learn a lesson from this. Don't ignore it, and don't listen to these politicians talking about boiling and use it. Don't listen to them. We already seen that played out. And look at how Flint ended up. And right now, Texas is turning out to look far worse because there are just so many places in Texas that are impacted by the water situation. It's more people involved, more homes, more apartments. So this is going to turn out to be far worse. So just be careful. do what you can. If you can get water from an outside source, the Texas should be footing the bill for everybody. This is the fault of the politicians. They need to start pouring the money out and taking care of the citizens there. And, look, just like people got a class action during, for the utility company that are charging them $10,000 and stuff during the blackout, during the snowstorm, maybe you should think about going after the water company too, and going after these politicians that have sat there and they knew the infrastructure was poor and it was not going to hold up during an extreme weather event. Many of them knew. They knew. There were so many things that happened in Texas that didn't happen in other places that were cold. Just like I was telling you, because their wind turbines stopped spinning as soon as the weather got cold. Here in New Jersey and New York, those turbines never stopped spinning, even when we were on our coldest days. What does that tell you? I mean, this is a nightmare, and this is going to be a big nightmare for people in Texas for years to come. This thing, just like they didn't fix Flint in a few months, they're not going to fix Texas in a few months either. That is unrealistic. So they got a long haul ahead. Y'all, do you realize we are 100 days away from the hurricane season? We are 100 days away. And you saw how active the season was last year. In fact, it went past the time when it should have stopped. It was active. It started early and it ended late. And they're anticipating another very active season this year. And we know those storms do go to Texas. So it's going to be a very long haul for them. And I was reading some of the comments from my subscribers. I saw what you were writing. Some of you were saying you were thinking about moving to Texas, but you ain't going there now. I saw quite a few people write that in. But this is not the fault of the citizens there. They didn't do anything wrong. This is the fault of leadership that left them in the dark where they had no power for days on end. This is their fault. Whoever made those calls, they are the ones that put these Texans in this situation. And it was a bad call. I didn't want to do a actual article. I actually just went out and just looked at multiple articles and I said, you know what, I'm just going to speak my opinion on this one. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.